The man, nonplussed, took a step back and a deep breath.
You're quite right, Brigadier. Forgive me. It's just that the whole thing has me so upset. My name is Ferro. Beniamino Ferro, at your service. I'm the doorman of this building.
The crowd had shifted its attention from the front door of the apartment building to the conversation between Maione and the doorman. Ricciardi walked over to the two men. "I'm Commissario Ricciardi from the mobile squad, and this is Brigadier Maione. Tell me what happened." Ferro blinked rapidly, made uneasy by Ricciardi's gaze and the low voice with which he'd spoken. He grew cautious and whispered,
"I don't know what happened, Commissar. That is, I know, I saw, and, Madonna mia, there was so much blood. But I don't know how it happened, I mean. That is, I didn't have anything to do with it, let me make that clear. I went upstairs when the Zampognaro called for me, and I went to see, but I only looked from outside the door. I know that you're not supposed to touch anything."
He'd referred to a Zampognaro, a traditional Christmas bagpiper. Ricciardi listened patiently, then said, "What did you see from outside the door? What is it you're not supposed to touch?"
"I know because I used to work at a construction site up in Vomero, and one time a buddy of mine fell off a balcony and they told us not to touch anything until they showed up. Until you all showed up, in other words. The dead, Commissar. Dead people, lying on the ground. That's what you're not supposed to touch."
The man's words fell into the silence like a rock into a deep well. The people at the front of the crowd that had surrounded the interview took a step back. A woman raised her hand to her mouth and her eyes grew round. "Dead people, did you say? What dead people?" Now, Ferro seemed to have lost all interest in talking. He stared back at Ricciardi, wide-eyed, silently muttering those last words over and over again. The dead, as if he had only now just understood their meaning.
"Dead? They're dead? The Signora? And the captain, too? They're dead?"
He repeated the phrase several times in a low voice, glancing around. The man's eyes glittered with the absolute terror and bewilderment that were washing over him. The rubberneckers looked away. From the nearby waterfront came the sound of a wave breaking over the rocks. Ricciardi still hadn't taken his hands out of his overcoat pockets. The wind was tousling the hair that hung down over his forehead. His eyes gazed, almost unblinking. He was trying to piece out how much of the doorman's agitation was real and how much of it might be camouflaging a lie. "What makes you say that this Signora and this captain might be dead? Did you see them? Where are they?" Ferro seemed to snap out of it.
Forgive me, Commissar. It's just that I still hadn't fully realized. I saw the Signora through the open door. I didn't go in. I called out for the captain. I called for him over and over, but there was no reply. I just thought that if he wasn't answering, then that must mean that he was dead too."
"And you're sure that he's home? He couldn't have gone out?"
No, he's home. I always see him leave, for the port in the afternoon. But at this time of day, he's always at home."
Maione intervened. "A minute ago you said that the Zampognaro called for you. What do you mean by that?"
"The two Zampognari had gone upstairs to play the novena for the third day. They came back down right away. One wasn't talking, and he's still not talking even now. He's over there, you can see him sitting in that chair, so pale he looks like a dead man himself. The other one, who's older, he came to get me, and he said, 'Signor Doorman, hurry upstairs, something awful has happened.' I would have believed anything except that I'd go upstairs and find what I found."
Ricciardi nodded, lost in thought. Then he said, "All right then, let's go take a look. Ferro, you can walk the Brigadier and me upstairs. Cesarano, you keep an eye on the two Zampognari and don't move from there. We'll talk to them afterward. And you, Camarda, I want you to stand guard at the front entrance. I don't want to see anyone go into the building, not even the people who live here, until I say so. Let's go."